welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Randazzo. Unfortunately, I am joined by one singular co-host today. Uncle Sam, for some personal reasons, was not able to make it today. But alas, to my left, it is our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Palazzolo.
I fucking hate Ohio. And Scooble's going to be on the bump for game 2 in that fucking shithole city, the Mistake by the Lake, and it's over. It's absolutely over. You take one in Ohio, and then they have to come up here for a best of 5. They have to come to Comerica Park if Scooble wins one game. They have to come to Comerica Park.
I got to come here.
Over. O-V-E-R. Over. Go Tigers.
Gritty takes. Gritty takes. Behind the computer, which now has 2 monitors per his request. There's 2 monitors there now. Absolutely dripping with his own goo. It's Bruce the Tugboat Venditti.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty fucking good, Bruce. How are you?
Fantastic.
You're doing good today?
Yeah.
We're an hour late. I apologize for that. It was completely out of our control that we were an hour late today.
Hold on. I've already given you the green light to throw me under the bus in other circumstances, so you could do it here. I had to pick up Mohammed Helwani from the airport. It took
say that again?
Mohammed Helwani.
Okay, I had to pick up Mohammed Elwani from the airport. Are you working for the consulate these days?
No. He's a good dude. He's from Tunisia. He was in town visiting his daughter in San Francisco, and he had some business in L.A., so he's coming to do some business with us before he goes back to Tunis on Friday.
Shout out to Mohammed Helwani, excuse me. And not
He's Tunisian.
Tunisia. I honestly, God, I didn't know Tunisia was a country.
It's North Africa. It's right across from Italy. It's literally directly across from
Sicily. So me and
Sicily.
him could very well be cousins.
You have Tunisian blood in you.
But see, I can't 23andMe anymore now because it's owned by BlackRock, and they'll steal my DNA and clone me at some point.
I never did it to begin with.
But yeah, so I'll never know if I'm Tunisian or not. The Gritty Takes.
Gritty motherfucking Tigs.
Take 2 in Houston.
Are you kidding me?
I never expected that to happen. See, I wasn't
the
to
best
believe
part. No one did.
No, the first 2, I thought for sure we're going to see a game 3. They take the first 2. They steal the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I learned about the Tigers today? They only have 1 starting pitcher.
Listen. They have other starting pitchers, but how they're doing this thing right now that they've just done since they've been on this run. So basically, since the beginning of August, they just wing it. They wing it with the at bats. They wing it with aggressive base running. And what they did today, one of the things they wing it with is called pitching chaos. And they called up all these arms after August 1, all these arms that were in Toledo that were just okay in Toledo, and then they came here and they have like sub 1 and sub 2 ERAs, and they just hurl.
It worked.
Today they fucking trotted out Jackson Jobe in the 7th. He's 21. He has a half inning of experience in Major League Baseball, and they're like, this guy's gonna pitch today.
Hey, fuck it.
And he gave up the lead, but it's like that's what they've done. Like you can't. It's like Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down. You can't be mad at it because that's what's worked for them.
That's what got him here.
Yeah, and then sure enough,
you got to go with what got him here. Okay. So this is a Tiger celebration show. It's also Wednesday, so we're doing Fantasy Frenzy. Get your questions in the chat. DM us on Instagram. If you've got my number, text me.
We have a lot on TikTok for you.
We have a lot on TikTok. You've got to read them to me because I don't have them.
I have it.
You have them.
I have it.
Beautiful. I got to figure out a way to get them on my computer before next week. But, so yeah, you can ask on TikTok. I forgot. We are live on TikTok. Please shoot us every single fantasy question you guys have. We're going to try and get them all answered today in a very quick and concise manner because it's dinner time. And I have a Hamito's chicken waiting at home for me right now. Also, if you need something else to watch after the show, go to Live in the D. Channel 4 News. I was on there today. I rambled for 5.5 minutes about produce. It's a decent watch. If you're wondering why I'm not wearing a hat today and my hair is presentable.
It looks great, by the way.
I don't look like a full vagabond. That's the reason why. It's not for you guys. It was for them.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, do we have anything else we need to touch base on, or can we go right into this today?
Let's go right into it.
Let's start. Start shooting in the questions. I'm going to start in the chat. and then we'll jump to TikTok, and then we'll jump to DMs. How does that sound?
Yeah.
All right, first and foremost, in the chat. Oh, actually, real quick. PJ just brought this up in the chat. Shout out to PJ in the chat. Have you ever been so infuriated with an Uber Eats driver that you lose your mind internally to the point where you don't know what's going to happen?
Let's hear the story.
So I'm sitting at work today. All right. Stressful morning. I'll say it was a stressful morning. I was rehearsing, trying to work at the same time, getting a lot of shit done. And so I was like, you know what? Before I go to the gym today, I want to make sure I get some protein in. I order a nice bowl from Qdoba. Okay. And you have to remember, I'm in the middle of nowhere. So everything takes a half hour, 40 minutes to get there. There's no 15, 20-minute food order.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this beautiful bowl from Qdoba. They got this new thing going on. It's Cholula hot honey chicken. I'm fucking hype. If there's one thing I love, it's hot honey, chicken, bowl, rice. I'm ready for it. So I have very specific instructions. Leave the bag at the cash register, right? Leave the bag at the cash register. So it's in there that there's a cash register and that you leave the bag at it. And then I trot up there as soon as I'm done doing what I'm doing and I grab the bag, whatever. I get the notification. Your order's arriving soon. So I'm like, okay, perfect. Give it 5 minutes, let them set it down, make a call. I look. I get the notification of the picture. It's sitting on someone's porch. And it wasn't even like, there's no houses next door. So come to find out that 3 streets over, 5 houses deep, my Qdoba bowl got left on some random porch. Okay? So I'm pissed. And I'm contemplating marching down the street to do it. But then it dawned on me. There is no humanly possible way it would have been a smart decision at 7 Mile and East Outer Drive to trot 3 blocks down and walk up to some random porch and steal something off of the porch. So I was like, hey, I said to leave it at the cash register. You left this at somebody's house. We're not even close here. She goes, I'm gone. Sorry. So I had to accept my refund. I did not get my Cholula hot honey chicken bowl. And somebody who lives on Bliss Avenue in Detroit did indeed get some free Qdoba for lunch today. So shout out to them. Anyways, Fantasy Frenzy, let's get into it. First things first, we got to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver situation because Rashee Rice out for a considerable amount of time, it looks like. Pat Mahomes came out today and says he hopes that he'll see Rashee Rice on the field again this year.
As JoJo Siwa once said, karma's a bitch. I should have known better.
Shout out to JoJo Siwa.
You crash into people, you're hotboxing your Porsche. What kind of car was he in?
He was in a Lamborghini.
You hotbox your Lamborghini and you crash into people.
Mm-hmm. And then flee the scene.
Inevitable.
Yeah. So, you know what the better part about this is? We might not see Rashee Rice for 2 years now. Because they said sometime in December this thing will go to trial, which means he'll probably be suspended next season, and we don't have to see him anymore this year. So right now, active wide receivers on the Chiefs roster are Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, the ghost of, Justin Watson, Sky Moore, and Mecole Hardman.
They got to make a trade.
They have to.
They got to make a trade.
They have to.
I think they'll be fine. I think they will implement Xavier Worthy in that Crashy Rice role. Shout out to Tyler. Is it Tyler's Crashy?
Tyler, yes.
Shout out to Tyler. I think they'll implement Xavier Worthy in that role, and he's already been good this year. And I think everything will come along for everyone else. Kelsey, I think Edward Zeelaire is going to be very effective when he gets back. You already saw Kareem Hunt playing well. I wouldn't worry about the Chiefs. They play in one of the easiest divisions in football.
So you think, for all intents and purposes, Xavier Worthy, currently wide receiver 22 in half PPR leagues, with 43 points on the year, averaging 10, you think he is going to be the guy for them going
I think he could finish in the top 12.
Is it worth rostering any other Chiefs receiver?
Whoever they pick up, whoever they land.
Whoever they go for. But current roster, Schuster, Watson, Moore, Hardman, no point. Okay. So there's the answer. The Chiefs receiver at this current moment to roster is Xavier Worthy. I got another question that was not sent in the chat, but I want to address it. Right now, as it stands, if we're talking quarterbacks, okay, The current ranking goes as follows: Jaden Daniels 1, Lamar Jackson 2, Baker Mayfield 3, Josh Allen 4, Sam Darnold 5. Now, this is a two-part question dealing with very good quarterbacks. Who would you rather have rest of season as your QB1? Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen?
It's tough. So I don't think that Josh Allen is that good. What he brings to the table at the moment is his rushing yards, which makes him the ultimate fantasy quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
If their passing game opens up, which is a big if, they really, Devontae Adams would thrive there.
He would.
If their passing game opens up, Josh Allen for certain. Right now, I don't think either of those guys finish as QB1, but I prefer Jaden Daniels at the moment than I do to Josh Allen, based on the schedule, based on how they play, based on who the pass catchers are. Jaden Daniels.
That is a big part of it. When you say schedule, I mean, Josh Allen's next game's coming up: Houston, the Jets, Tennessee, Seattle. Not awful, but at the end of the day, if we're talking about points, Jaden Daniels is Cleveland, Baltimore, Carolina, Chicago, the Giants.
Wait, I need a slight retraction because I was being a little too mean to Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen. He's one of my favorite players. I love watching him play. I just don't think the current incarnation of the Bills' offense
Is at its best.
it can't win.
Yeah. If you have either of those guys, it's an automatic start.
Mm-hmm.
The second quarterback question: who would you rather have rest of season as your QB1? Baker Mayfield or Joe Burrow?
First things first, I don't see where it was asked, but I know who asked.
Correct.
Because of the pass catchers, because of who this person gets to throw to, and we've seen the ceiling on this person, and it's way higher. For me right now, gun to my head, it's still Joe Burrow.
I agree.
But Baker Mayfield's an MVP candidate, and they're playing well. And he had a good year last year, and he's building on a better year right now.
Mm-hmm.
How long it can sustain, I don't know. Because he's also doing this, by the way, without Mike Evans. Mike Evans has been largely ineffective through the first 4 weeks. Last week, he had a good week. He had a touchdown, I think, last week. It's tricky, but Baker's been really good. I think you kind of just have to favor who has the better matchup week to week. But as long as Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are healthy, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow.
So in a week such as this, Baker has Atlanta on Thursday Night Football. Burrow has Baltimore.
Baker this week.
Zola has spoken.
Because 2 weeks ago, I told this same person in question, to start Baker, and it worked out. I think they finished with the same points. But last week, I said to start Burrow under similar circumstances, and Burrow had a good game for a fantasy perspective, but Baker had a really good game. So it's kind of like a ride the hot hand situation. You kind of just got to let it ride until it bites you in the ass, in which case I'm for sure starting Baker this week.
Amen. So we have heard it here first. Do you want to jump to TikTok for a minute?
Yeah. The first one I have on TikTok, this is from, God, I can't pronounce this, SX Toro Matson 818, probably somewhere in California. Shout out to you, bruh. Question. Would y'all rather have Tracy Jones Jr. or Alexander Madison? I think he meant Tyrone Tracy Jr.
Correct.
It seems that as the weeks go on, things are getting better for Madison. Mm-hmm. The Giants' running back to take is obviously Singletary, and it's been different from week to week. Like the way they've game planned from week to week is different, and because of that inconsistency, like I know, especially as soon as Devontae Adams gets out of town, I know the Raiders are going to need to pound the ball. Therefore, I'm taking Alexander Madison.
I agree with that 100%. And the Raiders have not liked Zamir White up until this point. Him and Mattinson are pretty much splitting carries for all intents and purposes. And Zamir White has not taken the world by storm as the number one guy there. Singletary has been more effective than him tenfold. The other thing is they really like Eric Gray in New York too, which is worrisome because right now he has more fantasy points than Tyrone Tracy on the year. He's gotten more carries than Tyrone Tracy on the year. So right now, if we're talking Mattinson versus the number 3 guy in New York, I'm rolling with Mattinson, especially because I love his red zone upside. He gets 3 carries a game for 4 yards and a touchdown. That being said, I could see a situation where Tyrone Tracy's usage goes up throughout the year, and I would just keep an eye on that. But at this current moment, as it stands, you got to go Mattinson, especially because the wheels are coming off of everything currently with the Raiders. So I would just keep an eye on that situation. We need to touch on something else regarding the Raiders situation. More stuff starting to come out about this Davante Adams thing. From a fantasy perspective, where would you like to see him go?
The Bills.
I agree.
The Bills.
Without question.
I can actually name like 10, not 10. I can name 4 or 5 teams that he would thrive in from a fantasy perspective. I don't think the Jets are one of those teams.
I don't think anybody Jets fantasy-wise is going to thrive right now.
No.
It's just not looking
Nope.
like it's going to be the case.
Things just seem off there. It's like when there's smoke, there's fire situation. The Mount Rushmore, I'll pick 4. The Mount Rushmore of places I think he would thrive. Buffalo, obviously.
Buffalo, I think he would have the biggest instant impact in Buffalo without.
No, for me, it's the Commanders is the biggest instant impact because they've needed wide receiver 2 for a while, and it unlocks their whole offense. Because you have take the top off the defense guy and Scary Terry and Terry McLaurin, and then you have I'm always open guy for a quarterback that's already finding guys that aren't open.
True.
So I think it's the Commanders. I think that Buffalo needs him more. So those 2, Commanders and Bills. I'll throw Kansas City in there. I don't think it ends up happening, but I think Kansas City, just because of the injuries, makes a ton of sense. It'd be cool, right? We could agree it could be cool.
It would be cool. I'd hate it, but it'd be cool.
The 4th team, like it could be any number. Like I think he ends up in Pittsburgh. I don't think he's a good fit in Pittsburgh. I think he could end up with the Jets. I don't think he's a good fit with the Jets. I think he can end up playing for the Chargers. Don't think he's a fit with the Chargers.
I don't love the idea of him coming here either.
Yeah, neither do I. And apparently there's interest. I don't know if you saw that from Dan Graziano at ESPN. Apparently there's interest in Davante Adams for the Lions. Of course, it'd be cool on paper. Don't think they need it. Don't think it's what they need, especially as Tim Patrick has started to emerge. Like, that's your guy. Like, that's your guy that's blocking, and that's your guy that's getting open in space in certain situations. You're throw the ball up and fuck it, he might be open guy. It's Tim Patrick.
Yeah.
And you don't want to take reps. Like, I thought Laporta's usage was perfect the other day. I thought St. Brown's usage was perfect the other day. I thought same with J-Mo. Like, the what you saw on Monday against a good defense is exactly where I want the Lions offense to be. And where does Davante Adams fit into that? He doesn't.
He's just going to.
He doesn't.
You're going to take useful reps away from everybody else.
Yeah, and I'm not keen. Like the way Ben Johnson's offense is set up here, it's no block, no rock. And one of the things all 3 of our receivers do is they block, and they love blocking. St. Brown loves to crush people on run blocking more than he likes scoring touchdowns. J-Mo got into the position where he is because he started getting so good at run blocking. Tim Patrick has taken to that role really nice on the Montgomery big run.
Yeah.
Tim Patrick bulldozed someone.
Yes, he did.
It'd be cool on paper, but I don't think he's a fit here. No. Whereas the 4 other teams I named, 3 in particular. We'll call it this. We'll call it the Chiefs. We'll call it the Commanders, and we'll call it the Bills. Yes. I think one of those 3 teams could really use Davante Adams.
I think one of those 3 end up with him.
I think it's Pittsburgh. I think it's Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh was about to pay.
It's one of those
way
4
more
for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be in the AFC. I think.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the AFC.
Best running back to stash the rest of season. I wish Uncle Sam was here for this, because right now I think my running back to stash would be Braylon Allen.
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
But I like I said in the last question, I like Mattinson too, because they're not using Zamir White.
Mattinson is good. Now, what do you mean by stash? Someone that's not getting reps now that will down the road?
I think that's what I'm taking it as. The guy who could be the guy down the road.
Oh, man.
And our league is extremely deep, because another name that, he's only owned in 50% of leagues, Bucky Irving. Rashad White's reps are way down. And if you follow every Patriots beat writer on Twitter like I do, Antonio Gibson, they are talking about how he is going to be the guy, and they are not happy with Ramondre Stevenson's performance this far.
Is the fumbles too.
Yeah, I mean,
Fumbles aren't great.
those are 4 names right there where if they're available in your league, go scoop them up because in a week or two, you could see them emerging as a 1A, 1B situation with the guy who's starting there right now. One more from the chat before we jump back to TikTok. Is Neighbors the true wide receiver 1 rest of the year?
I don't know about that just because of who's throwing to him, but yeah, I mean, he's a top 5 play the rest of the year. The targets, we look at trends in fantasy football based on, for receivers, it's based on targets. For running backs, it's based on snap counts. For quarterbacks, it's based on who you're throwing to. Like there's a number of data points that we can read, and Malik Neighbors' targets are in the high teens some games. And if he converts half of those, like in a PPR league, there's 5 to 10 points right there. So
if we're looking at this, and I don't know if he'll be wide receiver 1, but if we're looking at wide receiver rankings currently, there are some names up there who I don't think finished the season in the top 5. Like, I don't think Jaden Reed finishes the season a top 5 receiver. I don't think Jawan Jennings finishes the season a top 5 receiver. Outside of those 2 guys, you have a toss-up between Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson. I don't think Shaheed finishes the season top 5, but fringe. Godwin.
oh, by the way, they're on the Devontae Adams list, the Saints.
The Saints, yeah. I think there's a chance Neighbors finishes at least top 3. At his worst, I think he finishes top 5.
Top 5.
I got a couple TikTok questions.
Hit us. Let's go.
The first one is from Let Go. Shout out to you, Elsa. Start Roshan Johnson or Tank Bigsby?
Well, Tank Bigsby's another one of those running backs who's seeing increased usage because the Jaguars don't know what the fuck they're doing, and ETN is not playing his best football right now.
That's the international sign of your coach being a stoner. I don't think it's an ETN problem as much as I think it's a usage problem.
Correct. Bigsby is questionable going into this week, but so is Travis Etienne. Read me the question again.
Roshan Johnson or Tank Bigsby? Doesn't say this week, doesn't say going forward. It says start Roshan Johnson or Tank Bigsby.
Right now. Well, see, I'm a little scared of Roshan Johnson currently because DeAndre Swift had the best game he's had in 2 years last week.
Yeah, but on top of that, every time DeAndre Swift had a good game last year,
They
which
didn't use-
which was usually touchdown dependent, by the way. I mean, he had a couple big yardage games, but his usage just deteriorated through the year. Roshan Johnson's a very legitimate red zone threat. He brings that to the table, whereas
Bigsby is not as much.
I agree.
I would probably lean very slightly towards Roshan Johnson.
Yeah, it's not a good choice, and I hope this is a deep league. So I think right now, just because of the way things are going, it's Roshan Johnson, but I agree with you that Bigsby could be that stash guy later in the year. Can I do another TikTok one?
Please, go ahead.
Because they're coming in quick here.
Let's do it. Let's keep up.
Achane and Reed for Kieran Williams and Drake London.
Oh, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I'm sorry, but here's the thing. I was wrong on this.
Wait, hold on. In a heartbeat, which are you with the team that has Kieran Williams and Drake London?
Yes.
I agree.
Without question right now, because here's the thing. We all thought that it was going to be the Devon Achane show after Tua went down. They are so offensively incompetent at the moment, and everybody knows they're just going to try and run the ball, that Achane's just next to unplayable at the moment. Are you giving up a lot in Reed right now? Yes, you are, because he is wide receiver 3 in most leagues. But I don't see that sustaining the rest. I don't see him finishing the year as a top 5, probably not even a top 7 guy, because there's so many mouths to feed in Green Bay, and Josh Jacobs hasn't gotten going yet. Whereas I could see Drake London, with Atlanta now starting to hit their stride, finishing the year as a top 10 receiver, and Kieran Williams, I could see him finishing as a top 10 running back. That's the safer play right now, because I really think that if this Dolphins situation continues, which I don't see it ending, Achane, Tyreek Hill, and Waddle are unplayable.
Apologies for not getting. That was a bottom TikTok question. We're not getting to these fast enough because I want to
go.
make sure they keep
I'm
rolling.
gonna
in.
start ripping them.
So we'll do a quick here. Deontay Johnson or Evans?
Evans.
I like Deontay Johnson because the usage is sky high right now.
Are we talking this week? That's the problem. If we're talking this week, then you play the hot hand. and
Yeah,
get
Deontay Johnson, long-term Evans.
Correct.
Watson or Mahomes?
Anybody but Deshaun Watson.
Mahomes should be fine. What you're not getting in Mahomes is rushing yards. Like, he's been a fantasy deceiving quarterback for years. I like Mahomes long-term. There's a chance Deshaun Watson rebounds and he recoups some stuff. He's never going to be in the ballpark of Pat Mahomes.
Here's the thing. Scoring-wise, that are near identical. There's a point separating them total on the year right now.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson's being started in 5% of leagues. Patrick Mahomes being started in 75% of leagues. That's the answer.
That's your answer. Bijan or Walker? I assume that's Kenneth Walker and Bijan Robinson.
Correct.
Honestly, right now, especially after what we saw the other day, I love Kenneth Walker, but I'm crazy to think that because the usage on Bijan, as well as the PPR points that come with it and the pass catching points that come with it, it's Bijan. But like, you might be at a crossroads in the near future if Bijan isn't getting into the end zone as much as we'd like.
This for me, it's Kenneth Walker right now.
Garrett Wilson thoughts this week.
Garrett,
I don't know. Is this a question on what he said on on Bart Scott's podcast, or just in general, like how we feel about Garrett Wilson going forward?
Garrett Wilson, the last time I looked, was receiver 44. Like, it's bad right now.
They got issues in New York, and there's a scenario where you're not starting anyone other than Breece Hall, and then if you need a quarterback in a deeper league, it's Aaron Rodgers or same drill on Garrett Wilson. There's a scenario where you're not starting anybody until things get clear there. So.
For me, Garrett Wilson's not playable this week. One, you haven't gotten anything out of him. Two,
Rolling in quick.
they're going to London. Three, they're playing Minnesota's defense.
Growing up too.
Leave Garrett Wilson on your bench for this week. Do yourself a favor.
Rachel, thoughts on Kareem Hunt? We just talked about it a second ago, but I think it should keep trending forward. But the problem with the Chiefs' backfield is it's always been by committee. Like, even going back to when Kareem Hunt and Edwards-Helaire were splitting it a while back. Like, it's tricky. You never know who the hot hand's going to be, and that's what they do. They game plan for someone different every week. So I like Kareem Hunt on paper. It's going to get tricky once Edwards-Helaire gets back, in my opinion.
He tripled P. Ryan's carries last week, and Carson Steele only got 2. Kareem Hunt had 14. I am playing Kareem Hunt as the Chiefs' RB1 going forward, but expect the other ones to be involved.
From GJC6640, we're going to give our answer at the same time. Ready? The question is Love or Daniels? 1, 2, 3.
Jaden Daniels.
Not even a debate.
Drop Love.
JT. Who's JT?
I have no idea.
JT and Bucky for Saquon.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I do like Jonathan Taylor's outlook going forward. I think things are only going to improve for the Colts, but Saquon's a PPR monster, and if he stays healthy, he's going to finish his RB1 this year.
There are very few things that you could have right now that you wouldn't trade Saquon Barkley for. The 3 running backs that you would trade anything for are Kamara, Barkley, and Henry, period.
Shaheed or Robinson? Who's Robinson? These are so broad. I need you guys to help me right now. Rashid Shaheed.
Bijan Robinson. Wandale?
Maybe Wandale Robinson.
Or Brian?
It seems that Daniel Jones absolutely loves Wandale Robinson.
Please.
Absolutely loves him.
I had to have this argument at work today.
The answer is Rashid Shaheed, right?
If it's Bijan, you got to think about it. If it's Brian
No. If it's Bijan, it's still Bijan. If it's Brian Robinson or Wandale Robinson, you're taking Rashid Shaheed.
Without question, he's top 5 receivers.
We just said it a second ago. I don't know if you're just tuning in. Nice to meet you all. Rashid Shaheed gets usage, right? He gets the targets. He gets at least 5 targets a game. 2 of them tend to be downfield.
The only thing that changes that is if Devontae Adams ends up there.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to see his target share be depleted. But until that, you roll with Shaheed. He's top 5 guy.
Tyler, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pickens and Jamison Williams for Jaden Reed. Who wins?
The guy who got Jaden Reed. He's number 3 receiver right now. I love JMO, but I think you're still going to be a little spotty week to week.
Long term, I think it's the guy who gets Pickens and Jameson Williams because I don't think Jaden Reed could keep up his usage. And remember, a lot of it's out of the backfield, too. A lot of it's in that Debo role, so he's got to stay healthy. And I don't love the Packers' offense. Right now, it's Jaden Reed. I agreed. And then Jameson Williams is tricky because it's boom or bust.
Week to week.
It's week to week, and he's got to go off. And then on top of that, hold on, I lost it. On top of that, Pickens, like, we don't know what we're getting at quarterback. It's also week to week. Like, it's tricky.
Correct.
If quarterback play improves, like, maybe Russ comes in and you start seeing them hossing the ball around a little bit more. In the meantime, it's Jaden Reed. Mike Evans or Jaden Reed? Jaden Reed, right?
Yes, right now, you can't trust Evans as much as you can trust Reed.
Shaheed or Flowers? I don't love a lot about the Ravens' passing game right now, except for Rashad Bateman, to be honest
It's
with you.
Shaheed.
So probably Rashid Shaheed until I see different. I think Flowers' best football is in front of him, so maybe long term it's Flowers. Right now it's Rashid Shaheed based on the usage.
There's like 4 names I would take over Rashid Shaheed right now.
Kyler Murray
Ooh.
or Stroud. Right now, long term it's Kyler Murray because of the running usage.
You think?
Yeah, long term, because he's gonna finish top 3. I think they're gonna get everything back on track at some point. He gets Trey McBride back this week. What he brings to the table is he runs the football, and that's why Josh Allen's in that class. That's why Jaden Daniels is in that class. That's why Baker Mayfield is in that class right now. So I personally think, go ahead, make your case for Stroud.
If we're talking strictly from a points base, I think Stroud's gonna finish just above Kyler. You can't really go wrong. If for some reason you got both those guys, you pick your matchups, right? Like this week you got Stroud at Buffalo or Murray at San Francisco. I'm playing Stroud at Buffalo.
Devontae Adams for Tyreek Hill. Yeah, whoever gets Devontae Adams is probably winning that. They're 2 uncertain situations, right? We need to see Devontae Adams get traded. So if he goes to a good situation, that person wins. And then if the quarterback situation improves in Miami, the team who has Tyreek wins. So we don't know right now. Right now, I'm taking Devontae Adams, though.
Yes, and
he's healthy.
It's strictly based on Tua news.
Yeah.
If you can get a piece of Tua news in the next week, then you roll with it. If not, you gotta play Devontae. You gotta go with Devontae Adams.
Jake Ferguson or Trey McBride. I'm Trey McBride all day. I think he's going to finish as a top 5 tight end. When he plays, again, same drill. Targets. His targets are at least 4 or 5 a game. Kyler Murray loves him more than any other pass catcher, including Marvin Harrison, including Greg Dortch. He's up there with Michael Wilson. He gets a lot of targets as well, but I like Trey McBride.
Trey McBride's been banged up all year, and he's still rated above Jake Ferguson. I'm rolling with McBride as well.
Ramondre Stevenson for Jonathan Brooks from Isaac Hester. Yeah, if you get Jonathan Brooks, I like that because it seems like things are trending down for Ramondre Stevenson.
Ramondre Stevenson's 2 weeks away from being a throwaway.
I wouldn't want anything to do with any Patriots except for maybe Hunter Henry, but even that's going in the wrong direction right now. It's just because of usage that he stands out. Thoughts on Javonte Williams? It's tricky, Rachel. Denver's kind of, I think they're living week to week until maybe Bo Nix can open it up. They're going to need Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin in order to do anything at all, in my opinion. And if they keep getting better, you would think that Javonte Williams' stock keeps going up. But right now, it's tough.
I don't know if there's a pass catcher or a running back that you can trust on Denver right now.
Here's a good one from Mike Hunt. Yeah, I bit on that one. I bit right on that one. Would you trade Kenneth Walker and Kittle for CD and Freiermuth?
Yes.
I think whoever gets... No, I disagree because I think these are too hot. Okay, let me break it down. Kittle might be tight end 2 or 3 right now.
Let's see.
And you can't beat that out of that position group. Like there's positional value in holding a high...
Kittle's 2.
He's 2. There's value in holding that tight end, right? And Kenneth Walker's Kenneth Walker. Same drill. When he's healthy, his usage is perfect. And he's not touchdown dependent, but he still gets touchdowns. So everything's always good in the hood with Kenneth Walker. CD is obviously point monster. And Freiermuth is hot right now. Does he continue to be hot when Justin Fields leaves?
The only reason I'm going to go CD and Muth is because you're going to carry a questionable tag every week with Kittle and Walker. And the chances of them missing time, I think, are a lot higher than with CD and the Muth.
Jaden Reed for Devin Singletary and Rashid Shaheed.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
It's been getting spammed like 10 times, so we have to get it out of the way. Jaden Reed for Devin Singletary and Rashid Shaheed.
Yes.
I think if you're getting Jaden Reed right now, that's the better deal.
Yeah.
Whoever's getting Jaden Reed, but again, things can change with Jaden Reed's usage in a heartbeat.
Jaden Reed is in my opinion, the most fugazi 3 receiver. But I wouldn't be shocked to see him finish in the top 5, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him fall off. He's so tricky right now, and that's why so many people are asking about trades, because nobody's secure with him, but not everybody wants him. It's just a difficult situation with him.
Jordan Mason and Zay Flowers for Kieran Williams.
Whoever's got Jordan Mason.
I'm keeping Jordan Mason in that scenario. You're going if you get the upside out of Zay Flowers, which I think it's coming. I think there's a payoff.
At some point he will.
I think there's a payoff coming for all of those Ravens pass catchers at some point.
Yeah, 100%.
All those Ravens, like Mark Andrews, likely's got big games in front of him again. Bateman's already been popping off. I think good things are coming for all those guys. That being said, if you have Jordan Mason with McCaffrey out, like their offense goes through him. It's the 49ers too.
Can I jump real quick here because this is a good one?
You sure can.
Would you trade Xavier Worthy for DJ Moore right now?
Whoever's got Xavier Worthy, I think, is in better shape.
I agree. Hold Xavier Worthy. He's going to be the Chiefs' #1 receiver.
This is from Cam, who helped us set up TikTok. Shout out Cameron. Shout out Boogeyman. Follow Boogeyman on TikTok. Boogeyman plays. I fucked him on this last week, so we have to give good advice. Fields, Carr, or Love this week. I think I told him Derek Carr, and then he didn't do shit. Who do the Steelers have this week? Is it the Colts? No, that was last week. Ravens? No, it's divisional.
The Colts?
Yeah. No. Who do the Steelers have this week?
Pittsburgh plays Dallas on Sunday Night Football.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. Derek Carr. It's Saints Falcon. No, that just happened. It's
Derek Carr at Arrowhead.
I don't love that.
Neither do
against that defense. And then the Packers are who?
Packers at the Rams. It's a must-win for Green Bay.
Rams defense is kind of hot. Honest to God, Justin Fields.
I agree. Justin Fields at Dallas, and I know how fucked up that is to say.
No DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah.
No Micah Parsons. A banged up secondary.
Yes.
I think Diggs is still banged up.
And he's coming off of his best professional game in recent memory. You're playing Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I know that's fucked up. Real quick, I'm going to throw one in here. I have Cole Kmet as my tight end. Mark Andrews and Braylon Allen both hit waivers. Who do I use my first waiver priority on?
Braylon Allen and Mark Andrews?
Which one?
Wow. That's tough. You're relying on upside with both of them, but we've seen Mark Andrews finish as a top 5 tight end.
I know.
And I think it's coming. It depends how deep you are at running back, and it depends how deep you are at tight end. If you have tight end issues, Mark Andrews. If you think
It's
you're
Cole
going to
Kmet.
need...
Right now, I think I'm playing Cole Kmet over Mark Andrews till I see more.
Right now, but but it could. I don't know. I think I'm using it on Mark Andrews. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you're totally justified on Braylon Allen. So go ahead.
No, you know what? I'm a label whore. I would spend it on Mark Andrews too. I would do it and then just monitor the situation, because if you could get Braylon Allen, that's a great stash. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hold on, let me go down and get some new ones. Pickens, Garrett Wilson, and Ramondre Stevenson for Bijan.
One more time, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Pickens, Garrett Wilson, and Ramondre Stevenson for Bijan.
Yes, I would trade all 3 of those guys right now for Bijan. Ramondre, I am really buying into the fact that the Patriots don't want to use him anymore. Who are the other 2?
Garrett Wilson and Pickens.
I don't trust Garrett Wilson. Pickens is interesting, but it depends on the quarterback situation, and Bijan is going to be a bona fide #1 the rest of the year. If you have somebody to replace all your receivers that you're getting rid of.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, because everyone you're relying on their upside. Love Garrett Wilson's upside long term. That being said, I think Bijan's just the most consistent play out of all 4 names there.
100%. And it depends on your record too. If you're 1-3 and need a must win, then yeah,
you got to
dump
spice
him and take
things up.
Bijan. If you're 3-1, then you don't give a shit. Just hold.
Leggett or Jordan Winnington?
I'm playing the hot hand. I'm going with Leggett. Got his first touchdown last week. I've been a Leggett believer since the beginning. I am starting him this week in my wide receiver 2. I think he has a big week. I think he's got a bunch ahead going forward.
Yeah, I'm with Sam. I'm not touching anything Rams.
No.
Jordan Fields or Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray for me. You're going to go with Fields. Let's hear it.
No, I'm going to go with Kyler Murray right now as well.
I don't think you can. Kyler has a gear that he hasn't hit yet. Fields is at his ceiling. Fields cannot get much better than he has, and we've seen him play well for a month at a time, and then we've seen the wheels come off.
This week is the true test for Fields. If he can go out there and do what he did last week against a battered Cowboys defense, then you can really start to believe in him. Until that, Kyler Murray's the number 1 quarterback in this league.
Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. Thank you guys for the questions too, by the way.
Yeah, keep them coming.
This is a lot of fun. I'm
Rolling
getting a headache. No, we're good. I think we're caught up.
We're caught up.
Yeah.
We're caught up.
Rapid fire.
That was literally rapid fire. I have another one that we're going to repeat from last week here. Montgomery or Gibbs?
We can't do this without Sal here.
Montgomery or Gibbs? I'm sorry. We have to.
It's Jahmyr Gibbs for me.
Monty.
Still.
Yeah. Who's got more fantasy points?
I believe it is Gibbs.
With less
at
touchdowns.
the current moment.
With less touchdowns.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's why I was saying Monty.
I think Montgomery finishes the season. They're running back 7 and running back 9.
Is Gibbs in front of him?
Gibbs has 0.6 of a point more than Montgomery. It is 65.6 is half point PPR. 65.6 points to 65 points. Average per game is 16.4 versus 16.3. There's 1/10 of a point separating them.
I know what you're saying, and I don't think you can go wrong. The reason I like Jahmyr Gibbs is because he catches passes. And on top of that, Montgomery has to earn those yards. He's got to earn them. He's got to work for them, which means they aren't guaranteed. Whereas Gibbs, they're getting him open in space for him to make plays. They both do two different things, which is great. And neither of them are touchdown dependent, right? Because Gibbs has less touchdowns.
Montgomery scored in every game.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. But that makes him touchdown dependent, though. So I was wrong about that.
I'm going to say this. If you're in a full point PPR league, you go with Gibbs. If you are in standard scoring, I would lean Montgomery. If you are in a half point PPR league, you can I think it's a toss up. I think there's a situation where both of these guys finish the season literally next to identical.
Yeah. Good news for us.
Bijan or Breece Hall rest of year?
Oh, man. Just because I like their upside a little more right now, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons, so Bijan.
I agree. I would hold Bijan.
I got another one, Bijan or Achane. It's obviously Bijan, right?
The rest of year?
Yeah.
I know this is going to make me sound like a Dolphin simp.
Kinda are.
The guy's good when he's good.
Yeah,
Achane is so good when he is.
I would hold it. I would hold off one. I own Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. I am holding off one more week. On Monday night, I sent out 15 trades to try and get every Dolphin off of my team, and I retracted. And I brought it all back in, and I was like, okay, we're going to give this one more week, and then that is it. After this week, if they cannot get it going and we do not have any news about Tua, you can't continue to roll that way. You got to get what you can get for him. I would hold Achane for one more week. I don't know if I'd play him, but I would hold him.
Yeah, I mean, I would hold longer than a week because we've seen what Achane can do. And everything that's going wrong with them right now, you got to remember their defense is also banged up. So those guys are on the field a lot of the time, which means people are losing snaps, number one. Number two, I mean, their entire offense is anemic without a competent quarterback.
Correct.
And it sucks because I think McDaniels is a really good coach.
I agree.
It's just things are bad right now because they haven't figured it out. They haven't figured out how to scheme these guys open and give them ways to make plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really tricky.
I've got one.
Mm-hmm.
Half point PPR league, pick 2. Algier, Tutu Atwell, Cortland Sutton. I'm going Algier and Tutu Atwell right now.
Cortland Sutton's bad. I think Josh Reynolds might have more fantasy points than
I think
Cortland
Sutton's the number one by a very, very close margin. Let me double check. Sutton's averaging 8.4 points. Reynolds averaging 6. Jesus Christ.
If it's a start for this week, it's Tutu Atwell and
Tutu Atwell has had one meaningful game and is pretty much right on court.
it's coming. It's coming though. It's coming. So if it's for this week, I'm going Algier and Tutu Atwell. But long term, I love Cortland Sutton as Bo Nix gets better. I think Bo Nix will continue to get better, and they're in competition right now. They're 2-2, and they're in the thick of it.
If
so.
we're asking this question second half of the year, I'm going with Sutton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Algier, I would start regardless right now. I think Algier is going to continue to be the 1B to Bijan.
Yeah. Concerns about Bijan injury and short week. Yeah, it sucks. It is what it is, though. They play tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's Falcons Bucks tomorrow, right?
Falcons Bucks Thursday Night Football.
It's a great game.
We got to pick that game before we end today. I got one here. ETN or Tank Bigsby. I'm not playing either of them right now.
Not touching any
I'm not touching
Jaguars
anything on
except for
Jacksonville.
Brian Thomas.
Yep. Standard scoring: Bijan, Algier, Justice Hill, or Braylon Allen. So okay, Bijan is the given that I understand now. So as a number 2, are we going Algier, Justice Hill, or Braylon Allen?
We're only talking about this because all 3 of these guys have had like a hot week here and there, and it's hard to pick. I think the most upside, just based on usage, is Braylon Allen because he gets like 40% of the snaps.
We're rolling. We're unanimous there. Braylon Allen, and I know if Fatty was here, he would agree. 100%.
JETS.
JETS. Did you know that the fireman is actually Uncle Sam? He's been there all along.
Fireman Sal.
Yeah, Fireman Sal.
Start 2, bench 1. Zach Moss, Rashad White, Kareem Cunt.
You want to know what's fucked up? Out of those 3, the one that for me is a lock to start this week is Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, and you're taking a big risk by starting him. I'm starting Kareem Hunt and Rashad White.
I am too.
I don't think I'm starting Zach Moss. Bengals scare me. I think for the Bengals
And Chase
to win
Brown's
games,
Chase, if anything,
is emerging.
is emerging.
For the Bengals to win games, they're going to have to do it in the air.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to hurt all their usage.
Would you sell high on Deontay Johnson if you could, or keep him?
It depends what sell high means. Depends who's on the other end of the deal. I think Deontay Johnson's got a I was high on him going into the year.
Yes, you were.
I think he's got a very reasonable shot to finish in the top 20, top 25, but it just depends like what your return is on Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson's currently wide receiver 18. Hypothetically, if you could swap Drake London for Deontay Johnson, you would hold Deontay Johnson? Yeah.
No, excuse me. Yeah, Drake London I would trade him for. I would trade him for Drake London.
Stephon Diggs.
I'd trade him for Diggs.
Jacoby Myers.
No, Deontay Johnson.
Let me throw one more at you here. DJ Moore, who's currently wide receiver 34.
No, because I think Caleb Williams' best football's in front of him, and I think DJ Moore is going to be receiver 1 for the Bears.
So it's extremely subjective at the moment.
Yeah, it's early to tell. I do like Deontay Johnson, though, and I do think he finishes very high. I just don't think he finishes. I mean, other than Jacoby Myers, he's going to finish higher than one of the guys I said that you shouldn't take him for. Probably.
Yeah.
I just don't know which one it is.
The only reason I threw Jacoby Myers in there is because he is going to be wide receiver 1 after this week.
Rest of the season, Ayuk or Wandale. I can't tell if that's a joke, PJ.
No, he's serious.
Ayuk.
Okay, but we just got another Ayuk question. What is Ayuk's outlook the rest of the year? He's currently wide receiver 68, averaging 5 points a game.
Dan Campbell had this really good comment 2 weeks ago, like it was in the press conference after losing to the Bucks, and he said, it may take these guys didn't play in the preseason. It may take us a while to hit our stride.
And he didn't go through camp either.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is Brandon Ayuk did not go to training camp. It's going to take him a while because Brock Purdy's not the problem. That guy's lighting it the fuck up every week. And at some point, Brock Purdy's going to start finding Ayuk, and it's gonna all add up and all make sense. Like we've seen it happen. There's a rapport there. I just think that things are starting slow because he missed 2 months sitting around. So long term, Brandon Ayuk should be fine.
I think he finishes the year a top 20 receiver.
It's plausible.
Here's one, and you're gonna have to help me out because I don't know who BTJ is.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh, pick 3: DK, Ayuk, BTJ, or Dontavian Wicks.
Brian Thomas and DK easily.
It said pick 3, so now we got to choose between Ayuk and Wicks.
The Packers receiving situation
So fucked.
is so tricky because everyone catches one. It's just in a 3-week span they get it, right? Christian Watson's out, right? Is he banged up again?
Double check. I think he's banged up, and I believe he's playing. Green.
They love the tight ends. They love Kraft and is it Kraft and Croft?
Watson's doubtful. So, yeah, you're going to see a big Dontavian Wicks week.
Yeah, you should. And he caught one last week. Yeah, right now, maybe Dontavian. Who do the Niners play? Don't they have an easy one this week, though?
Double check.
At some point, things are going to pop off for Ayuk.
49ers are playing Arizona. I'm gonna bench Ayuk for 1 week and take Dontavian Wicks with Christian Watson out against the Rams and probably never do it again.
Just because of the injury.
Correct. Should I trade Wan'Dale Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, Algier, and Njoku for Garrett Wilson, Mark Andrews, and Josh Jacobs? Listen, that's bad. Any thoughts there?
I wouldn't touch it.
I would stay away from that dumpster fire, mainly because I'm going to trade for Garrett Wilson and Josh Jacobs. But Wan'Dale's not for
See
real.
about that.
Ayuk's wide receiver 68. Algier's a number 2 running back. At least Garrett Wilson's a number 1. Mark Andrews is worthless. And Josh Jacobs is a number 1. It's a bunch of number 2s for number 1s outside of Njoku. Anything else from TikTok at the moment?
Yeah. Pick 3: Achane, Kenneth Walker, Jordan Mason, Bijan, and I believe Hunter Henry. I'm going Kenneth Walker, Mason, and Bijan.
Yeah, same here. You can't play Achane right now.
Start 3. Start 2. You get 3 names: Jerome Ford, Rashad White, Kareem Hunt.
Rashad White and Kareem Hunt.
I think it's Kareem Hunt. No, sorry. I like Jerome Ford right now. He's been consistent. He's been 9 or 10 points a game.
Yeah, and you're only going to be able to use him until Chubb comes back.
Yeah. I like Jerome Ford, and I like Rashad White there.
Over Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, it's too inconsistent in the backfield. I think it's going to change week to week. Trade Waddle and Judy for Garrett Wilson. I have JJ, Nico Collins. Wow. I have JJ, Nico Collins, Deontay Johnson, Higgins, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, Judy and Waddle PPR. So trade Waddle and
4-team league.
Trade Waddle, yeah, right. Trade Waddle and Judy for Garrett Wilson. I would do that just because you have the depth to do it. Unless you're starting 5 receivers, I would. Totally
I would do it
that.
too.
Let's go. Should I start Wicks or T Higgins? Honest to God.
Well, let's look at matchup. Well, okay, it's Green Bay at the Rams.
And then the Bengals are playing the Baltimore. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Dontavian Wicks this week.
Yeah, I mean it's also a hot hand type situation. And T Higgins, if you heard us a second ago, we were talking about guys that miss camp and it's tricky. T Higgins was banged up for a long time.
And I think still is.
Yeah.
Semi-banged.
He'll be good. He's going to be fine. I love him long term. But yeah, Dontavian Wicks is playing and suited and just scored last week. So I like Dontavian Wicks. Are you guys on the Jonathan Brooks hype? Yeah, I'm honest to God, since Andy Dalton's been there, we're on the hype of all
I'm on
Panthers skill players. Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette, when Thielen gets back, yeah, Brooks.
I'm gonna say this much: it's hard right now for me and Brooks because Chuba Hubbard's playing really well. So I don't know. I don't. It's hard for me to think because we've seen Chuba Hubbard do good things. For them to pull Chuba Hubbard and give the reins over to Brooks, and honestly, Miles Sanders has not been awful. But I do like Brooks' upside. I don't know if he's going to steal Hubbard's job, but I could see a 1A, 1B situation. Jumping back, start 2 running backs in a flex. PPR. Javonte, Bucky Irving, Brown. Help me out with Brown. Who the fuck could Brown be?
Chase Brown.
Okay, Javonte Irving, Javonte Williams,
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving, Chase Brown, Dowdle, Waddle.
And there's 2.
2 running backs and a flex.
Okay, I like Rico Dowdle right now. I'm just by default out of all those names.
Target share. And
Yeah.
honest to God, I like Chase Brown.
Yeah, things are trending up for Chase Brown.
I think if I had to pick 2 running backs,
That
I'd go.
light skin magic.
Amen. I think I might be darker than Chase Brown.
You are.
I would go Brown and Dowdle in my running backs. And then so flex, you've got Javonte, Bucky Irving, or Waddle.
Also, if not holding, should I drop Waddle, Javonte, or Goff for Leggett or Sermon in the flex? No, I wouldn't drop any of those guys for Xavier Leggett or Trey Sermon.
Neither would I. Not right now, at least. I think I would play. I'd play Bucky Irving in my flex because, again, you cannot play any of the Dolphins receivers till they at least do something. I mean, we're not talking. You're going to lose games right now because of the Dolphins pass catchers and running backs. Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Achane combined for like 11 points this week.
Are you kidding me?
You good over there?
We ran out of time or something.
Oh.
On TikTok?
Oh wait, no, it's back. I think it was due to inactivity
Oh, okay.
because we're streaming through YouTube. So
All right. Anything else? Any more questions? That was an absolute power hour right here, right now. Dak is my quarterback. I would hold Goff even if Dak was your quarterback.
Things are trending up for Goff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like top 5 potential, but I think he's going to finish in the top 10.
I'm pretty sure Goff finished 6 or 7 last year.
Yeah.
I could easily see him doing the same thing this year. If we're going off of current quarterback rankings, Dak 6, and Goff with a slow start to the year is, okay, he's 14. But it's a 20-point spread right now. Less than that. It's actually a 15-point spread.
Let's do a quick rapid fire because they're still coming in on
Go.
TikTok. Trade Jonathan Taylor and Waddle for James Cook and Devontae Adams. Yes.
Yes.
Cook and Devontae Adams wins that deal.
Agreed.
Pick one: Terry McLaurin, Drake London, or Rashid Shaheed.
Terry McLaurin, Drake London, Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed.
Right now, Terry McLaurin. Long term, I think Drake London. Sorry.
This week,
This week, I think it's still Terry McLaurin, right?
I can't not play Shaheed right now.
Fair. I got bit by Rashid Shaheed last week, so I'm pissed off about it. Bucky Irvin or Ford this week. Who does Cleveland play? Who's Jerome Ford play this week?
Washington.
And then tomorrow, Bucky Irvin is against the Falcons. It's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
I don't like Washington's defense, so give me Jerome
I
Ford.
agree. On
And
that
he's
one,
not in a split. Jerome Ford's not in a split either.
No.
He's the
He's
he
the
gets
guy
the,
right
the
now.
target share. Kenneth Walker for Tank Dell and Chase Brown. No, I'm keeping Kenneth Walker. Keeping Kenneth Walker. Do I accept receiving Garrett Wilson for Brian Thomas and Chuba Hubbard?
Fuck no.
No.
Fuck no.
The upside on Garrett Wilson is very high. I don't love anything Jets right now, but I think long term.
There's a situation where Brian Thomas finishes the year right there with Garrett Wilson, and you have Chuba Hubbard as a bonus. So I would hold.
Okay. Trade Deontay Johnson for Chris Godwin. No, I like Chris Godwin right now. Oh yeah. Excuse me. If you're getting Godwin, I like that.
Yes.
He's
take
one of the
Godwin.
few guys like that seems to be Baker's go-to is Chris Godwin.
Correct.
Baker or Fields this week? Baker. We just had this conversation. All right, we're riding Baker until we die. Odunze or Judy or Dowdle for flex. You got to pick one. You're gonna be surprised my answer.
This week
Yeah,
against Carolina, I'm going to go with Dunze.
I like Odunze as well. Start 2: CD, Dontavian Wicks, Rashid Shaheed, Devontae Adams, Christian Kirk. Obviously, CD goes without saying.
For me, it's CD and
And-
Rashid Shaheed.
Oh, I'm gonna take the counter and go CD and Dontavian Wicks. Brendan, shout out to all the fruit and the ice cream and all that shit. I think we're caught up again.
All right, I'm going
Sorry.
to jump back because we just got one in YouTube. Should I trade Cooper Kupp and James Cook for Jordan Mason and Rico Dowdle?
No.
I have Brian Robinson,
No. don't
Jerome
care.
Ford,
No.
Amon Ra, Jaden Reed, T. Higgins, and Jawan Johnson.
No. You're sitting very, very, very pretty, waiting for Cooper Kupp to get back, who's gonna finish when he comes back, he's going to finish as in the weeks he plays as a top 5 play.
Can I ask a question? How the fuck do these people have these kind of teams?
Dude, there's some weird leagues out there. Remember, you and I are in a deep ass league,
I'm
so guys
starting-
aren't available. Remember that.
Hold on. Just for the record, just so you all know how lucky you are when you're sending us these ideas, these trades, I'm starting in my wide receivers starting this week are Tyreek Hill, Xavier Legette, and Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, we're in a deep league, though.
That is how awful this is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do because you're good, brother. You are so good. Where else? Anything else?
Big R, your question didn't come through.
Whose question didn't come through?
Big R.
Big R? Big R, reshoot us your question. We're probably going to end it with yours. Should we transition a little bit here and go into the Thursday night game?
Yeah.
And then see if we get any more questions once we're done?
You got a few already.
Tampa Bay is heading to Atlanta to play the Falcons on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Atlanta's a 1.5 point favorite. The over-under is 44. I'm going to take Tampa. I'm going to take Tampa to cover and win. I'm going to play the hot hand. That over is an interesting one. I think I'm going to take it. I think I'm going to take the over on the 44, simply for the fact that we've seen that Tampa can put up a lot of points. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this is going to be a blowout by any means. I think Atlanta's going to stay right there with them, but I think you'll hit over on your 44. As far as any time goes, it's really hard right now to go against Tampa's receivers with the way Baker's slinging it. Chris Godwin's plus 175 on FanDuel. I'm going to take that, but I also love the idea of the Drake London anytime. As far as a prop goes, I think that 244.5 out of Baker is really, really close. But the Kirk Cousins, 228.5, I could see him going over 228 yards in this game. I think Kirko is going to have a pretty decent game. They have Bucky Irving having more yards than Rachaad White in this one, and I tend to agree with them. I'm going to take the Rachaad White over 34.5, and I know that's very contrary to everything that we have said, but I like a Godwin anytime. I like Rachaad White over the 34.5, and I'm going to take another one here as my little sneaky shocker. I like Cade Otton over 28.5 yards in this game too.
I like the Falcons to win.
Ooh.
Yes, I like Kirk Cohen primetime. I like the Falcons to cover. I'm going to go with the over. I think this has a lot of fun potential.
Yep.
Give me Drake London anytime just because I've been high on him the entire year. And you know what? I'm going to have a little fun. Guy we've been bashing for a half hour ago, I was bashing a little bit. Mike Evans anytime. I think Mike Evans gets on the board against a weak Falcons secondary tomorrow.
Love it. Bruce, you want to pick it? Pick it in honor of Uncle Sam.
Tampa in the over.
That's exactly the way he would have said it, too. That's exactly the way he would have said it. Do you have an anytime touchdown? Channel him. Speak
Who's
as him.
someone just absolutely outrageous.
I know what Uncle Sam would say in this situation. Bucky Irving anytime touchdown.
Kirk Cousins rushing touchdown.
Oh, there you go. That one's fucking better. Guy with the repaired Achilles that can't run the ball. Do we have anything else on TikTok to address?
Yeah, tons.
Give us.
But it's so much. It's coming in so quick at this point that maybe, all right, we could do one more rapid fire, but then I
Let's
gotta
go.
There's
I gotta
One
big
more
R's.
rapid fire, and then we're cutting it.
Who do I flex full PPR? Deontay Johnson, Garrett Wilson, Kareem Hunt, Higgins, Montgomery, or Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Montgomery.
Thoughts on this offer? Give Achane and Tank Dell for Singletary and Deontay Johnson and Hawkinson. Yeah, I'm selling high. Yeah. I don't hate that at all.
I don't hate it right now.
I don't hate it. And
Not with the
Hawkinson's
current
gonna
state
be
of Achan's affairs.
thoughts on this offer? He's spamming. Have Mason and Barkley. That's what he said. So, he's getting Singletary for depth.
Legette or Hubbard in your flex.
Right now, Hubbard.
Right now, Chuba. I agree.
And then eventually Leggett.
Yep.
Brian Thomas and Chuba for Jamar Chase. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, if you
Yes.
can grab Jamar Chase, that's another one you pretty much trade anything
That's
for.
it. We're caught up.
Beautiful.
We got to go before these guys. Listen, anything we didn't get to, we will get to next week.
Yeah. Hey, and another thing, we're at Tip Balls on Instagram. DM us your questions there. We will literally stash them for next Wednesday. We'll spend a little bit more time next week. We got a little bit of a late start today. Doesn't matter. We're gonna keep rapid firing every Wednesday. This is exactly what we want Fantasy Frenzy to be like. And I think that's it for today. So Atlanta, Tampa. Who'd you take? Who did Uncle Sam take?
Tampa.
Tampa. Okay. Anyways, with that being said, we'll be back Friday. Pick the entire slate of games for the weekend. You guys have fantasy questions on Friday. Go ahead, throw them at us. We'll either get to them or save them for Wednesday. But with that, thank you guys for watching another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls. TikTok, where we are now live for every show, where you can ask us questions. We will answer them. We will love to hear you in the chat. At Tip Balls Podcast on TikTok. At Tip Balls Podcast. Follow us so you get notified when we go live there, and subscribe on YouTube so you get notified when we go live there. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, go to those two. You would rather see our faces than just hear us talk. I promise. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back Friday with the picks of the week.